to shock the world here.
I'm calling for an open tryout. If anyone is watching this, I'm calling for an open tryout. I got a year of eligibility left.
Might have some.
Anthony, where is home for you?
Home is Medland.
That's wrong.
All right, I hear what you're saying, but I'm just going to disagree.
While we were in class this morning, I was watching his mixtape, and this guy catches and shoots from anywhere.
Are you ready for some debate? Because Bobcat Breakdown starts right now.
Welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown. I'm your host, Elizabeth Bolito, and alongside me today we have Dylan Summer and Santino Meoni. Guys, are you ready for some lively debate?
Dylan, I can't wait. As I said in the pre-show, I mean, listen, our first time on desk, the masks were on, it was COVID, the masks have come off, we've revealed our faces, and I'm ready to go at it, Dylan.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming, and I'm ready for round two.
Most definitely.
All right, on Sunday, the men's basketball team faced off against Siena, and during this game, guard Savion Lewis broke the record for all-time single-season assists with 212. Here at the Moment is featuring QBSN.
Matt, were you aware that dunk was the record?
I had no clue.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of it, obviously, until we got to the number.
What was it, out of bounds? It was still, oh, perfect. Yeah, that was beautiful.
As here comes Lewis. Lewis finds Balunk for the assist record. Balunk slams it home, and that's it. Lewis with the ball again, top of the key. Driving gets Otieno wide open in the paint, and he lays it in. He's out to Lewis. Lewis top of the key. Finds Amari Tice. Big pass.
While Lewis broke the record in that game, the team has also broken their 4-game losing streak with 2 wins against Siena and Iona. Do you think that these 2 games are the best the team has played this season? Santino, you could start us off.
Yeah, Dylan, I'm just going to say straight up no, and I'm going to quote directly from Tom Pecora, out of the mouths of babes, this is what he said. We just talked about would our first half effort be good enough to win Thursday against Marist or Saturday against St. Peter's, and it was that it wouldn't have been. But our second half effort was exceptional. This is talking about the game against Siena. They were up early on in that game 16-3. Siena goes on a 9-0 run. It was 16-12. Later in the first half, Quinnipiac is up 36-23, and then another a 10-0 run. It was 36-33 before the Quinnipiac went up by 5 at the half. Their defense and just their overall consistency of play was not great in that game. I harken back to maybe January when they beat Fairfield and Marist, 2 of the top 4, or I believe, 4 teams in the MAC right now. They beat Marist at home 66-55, or on the road, 66-55, and then beat Fairfield on the road 66-64. I think that time when they had that 10-game win streak, you have to say that was their best, most consistent overall level of play for this year so far.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you on this. It's been a while since they played this good, and those last 2 games definitely showed it. But that stretch in January where they went undefeated for the first time in program history in a month.
They hadn't lost at home in MAC play.
Exactly. And looking at the teams that they beat on that stretch, Fairfield, Marist, Ryder, all those teams, it's just been a night and day difference between this team where it was now compared to where it was then.
And not to mention, you're looking at the teams they've beaten now. Siena's the worst team in the MAC record-wise. They had 4 MAC wins coming into this game. So you beating Siena by 14 points at home, meanwhile you were only up by 5 at halftime, and you let Siena back into the game a multitude of times in that first half, that doesn't display to me, oh, this is the best basketball that we're playing. Absolutely not. Because Tom Pecora did say their second half was much better. That was more indicative of what we've seen from this team. But to me, it seems impossible that you could argue during a 10-game win streak, beating some of your top opponents in the MAC that you're going to have to probably face somewhere down the line in the MAC tournament, that was their best stretch by far during that run.
Great points, you guys. But moving on from the men's to the women's side, the women's basketball team contains 7 first-years on their squad with a significant amount of minutes abroad around the bunch. Will their youth be a positive or negative heading into the Atlantic City for the tournament? Dylan?
I'm just going to put it simply out there. It's negative. They don't have enough experience. And if you look at this team and what they've been on the road this year, 4-10, and those 4 wins came in close games against Rhode Island, Marist in overtime, St. Peter's, and Ryder. And the seniors on this team, Tino, have played not at all season long. So this is a fresh team going into the tournament. And yes, I know there's there's nothing that they're going to lose down there. But guess what? Every other MAC team down there is going to come with that same mentality.
Here's the thing, Dylan. I fully understand why you're saying it's negative. Looking at the short term going into the tournament, you're looking at it saying, okay, none of these players have experience. How are they going to be able to succeed in a neutral environment against other teams that have more experience? Let's look at it from a different perspective, though. It's going to be a positive down the line because maybe this year they won't have a lot of success, but next year, when you talk about Keeley coming back from injury, Jackie Grisdale, a few of these players that are out right now, Ella O'Donnell, including there as well. These players right now, they're getting valuable minutes. Ava Seleni, Carson Martin, Anna Foley, we saw them up on the full screen earlier. Those three players specifically are, even Paige Girardi, they're getting a ton of valuable experience right now, being the leaders of the team right now, even though when everyone's healthy, they aren't necessarily the leaders. It's valuable experience they're getting regardless. So it won't lead to success right now, but to me, it's a positive if you look at it down the line.
Yeah, that's the only way it could be a positive right now. It's a negative all the way through, and this team, in the last 6 games, have been on a losing streak.
Here's the thing, Dylan, too, though. You can look at it saying, when March comes around, even though it's not the NCAA tournament quite yet, when you're talking about Feast Week and you're talking about all these tournaments that are happening, anything can really happen. So the Bobcats could go in there and a young team that maybe gets hot at the right time. You never know what they could do. So yes, I agree with you that experience-wise, they're not going into it with that. But I'm choosing to look at it from the perspective of you know what? Let's try to have a broader view on this and look at it more long-term. These players are going to be better off for it later down the line in their collegiate careers.
And I agree with you there. Anna Foley, for her first time, she's going to learn going down there. She's their main scorer. And now every single team down there, whoever they play, that's the game plan. Stop Anna Foley.
100%. So she's going to learn how to play against that.
Yeah.
Guys, I know we all love talking basketball, but it's time for our first commercial break of the night. But when we come back, these guys will each get to draft their all-time MAC basketball squad. Stick with us.
Type 2 diabetes can have a big impact on your life, but how can it be prevented? Well, the first step is knowing if you have prediabetes, a serious medical condition that puts you at high risk for type 2 diabetes. 1 in 3 American adults has prediabetes, but more than 80% don't know they have it. The good news is, prediabetes can be reversed, and for many people, healthy changes in their daily routine can make a big difference. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihavepprediabetes.org.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
I think it's just vapor with flavor.
It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes, right?
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
My kid?
My kid knows it's dangerous.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at
Welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown. As promised, it's time for these guys to draft their all-time MAC tournament teams. You will each get to select your ideal starting 5 players out of any men's or women's MAC basketball athletes. You'll go back and forth, starting with Dylan's number 1 pick.
Dylan, who's your point guard? Who's running the offense for you?
I mean, the guy that dominated the MAC all last year, Noah Tomlinson. And if you look at what he's been able to do just now down in Georgia, but we're going to go back to last season. All championship team selection. He brought Niagara to the finals against Iona. He's a unanimous selection to the All-MAC first team. Led the MAC 19.5 points per game and recorded double figures in all but 2 games. And in those games, dropped 20 or more in 17 games. So if you want a scorer, you got to get Noah Tomlinson, and he's a do-it-all player.
Yeah, looking at his numbers on the screen again, averaging 19.5 points per game last season. I'm going to go also with the Niagara Purple Eagle, but I'm going Angel Parker at my point guard. I think that talking about the way she plays with her sister Aaliyah, they have a very, very, very good chemistry on the floor. Angel Parker, though, when you look at her ability to score the ball while also being able to play make, last season coming in, she averaged, I believe it was 10 over 10 points per game. She's averaged over 10 points per game throughout her entire career. And I just think that when I'm looking at taking a point guard, I want somebody who can do kind of a mix of what Savion Lewis does on top of, being able to score the basketball. And I think Angel Parker gives you the best of both worlds for there. So I'm going to take her as my starting point guard.
Well, how is she without her sister on the team? Have you seen that?
I have seen that, but you're going to see what I have cooking up here with my backcourt and have with my guard. So we'll see what your shooting guard is.
Okay, I'll move on to shooting guard, and I'm going with a home pick right here in Mackenzie DeWeese. I think just what she was able to accomplish here, especially getting on the watch list for the 2023 Becky Hammon Mid-Major Player of the Year. If that accolade doesn't say enough, well, here's some more. 253 career steals, ranked third in program history. Senior season, 106 steals, first time as a Quinnipiac player. So she not only can she score and shoot, she's also very good on the defensive end, and she can create those turnovers that are going to go ahead and turn into points.
Yeah, I'm going with another Niagara player. I'm going with Aaliyah Parker. Like I said, the dynamic duo between her and her sister Angel, they play very well off of each other. And I was actually at the game when Quinnipiac this year lost to the Niagara Purple Eagles. Aaliyah Parker was decimating them. She was scoring from the perimeter, able to score in the post. She's a triple threat scorer in terms of that, being able to get down low, scoring in the mid-range, which is kind of a lost art in today's game if you really think about it. The only player I could think of in the pros that does that is DeMar DeRozan. So she's able to score from there, which a lot of teams don't really guard. So that's one thing that she provides that's really dangerous offensively. And then defensively too. Despite only being 5'9", despite being a little bit undersized, she plays with incredible intensity, and she's able to get a lot of rebounds as well. So I think that having the two of them together, I agree with you that maybe separately they're not as strong, but the dynamic duo of having those two sisters together in the backcourt, for me, I think that's really strong. So I got the two Parker sisters.
Those are two good picks. I'm going to move on to small forward now, and I'm going with another home pick in Jacob Bergoni.
Interesting. Okay. You have number 3.
Yes.
Okay.
When he left Quinnipiac, he had 1,431 career points and a program record of 319 three-pointers. And he registered a season high of 30 in the MAC tournament against Monmouth, and he was shot 7 from 11 from three-point range. So at my 3, I want a guy that can shoot, but he can also go ahead and just be an all-around player. As you just heard, the amount of points that he got over the 1,000 mark. And with my team right now, I got scoring and defense, and now I got three-point shooting.
All right, so with my first 2 picks, I think I went, again, Aaliyah Parker, good defender. Both of them can score. Angel Parker, good playmaker. At my 3, I'm also going with a hometown kid, Matt Belanc from the Bobcats. I think that when you look at it, first off, talking about three-point shooting, when you look at his ability to shoot the 3 ball, this year, 36.6% from 3, 43.7% from the field, second most points on average in the MAC this year at 18.4. The athleticism he provides, he's a freak. The way he's able to, when he gets in the air, it looks like he's floating, he's flying. Matt Belanc, I think defensively, again, super, super intense. He'll go out there and put up 20-something points and also go guard the best scorer on the opposing side of whoever they're playing. I think that the amount of games that he's played, the experience that he has really benefits my team as well, because he's bringing in that veteran leadership, that veteran presence, and that IQ and mindset that he has. I think Matt Belanc, despite only being 6'4", I'm going a little bit of small ball, but we see in today's NBA, small ball, or even just basketball in general, small ball is the wave. It's the way to go. So I'm taking Matt Belanc at my 3.
I think Matt Belanc, just from the regular season standpoint, I would agree with you. But in terms of what he's done in Atlantic City, I don't really see that much there. He gets cold down there. So if I'm bringing like an all-MAC team that I'm bringing to the tournament, I'm not sure that Matt Belanc is going to be the best of players to pick there, because his consistency, even like in the regular season, he'll score 21 game and then like 7 the next game. So why?
I don't know if that's necessarily true, especially this season. I think he's been very consistent this year. And listen, sometimes shooters will get a little bit of streaky. You think about a J.R. Smith, a guy like that. He could put up 31 game hitting 10 threes, and then another game might not hit as many. But Matt Belanc, it's the confidence that he has. It doesn't matter if he misses 5 to 6 shots. He's taking the next one no matter what, and I want that confidence and that veteran presence in my way going down to Atlantic City.
At my 4, I'm going to go with Megan Anderson from Fairfield, arguably the best player in the MAC for the women's side, 11 MAC Rookie of the Week honors, 16.2 points per game, leads the team in threes with 57, leads the team in rebounds, 148, leads the team with blocks. I could just go on and on with how many stat categories that she leads in. And you know what else she did, Tino? She got Fairfield to be ranked for the first time in school history in the AP poll. 25 at that.
Dylan, before I even give my player, first off, I mean, you're talking about bringing a first year onto the All-Atlantic City team, and you're bringing her down to Atlantic City. I just talked about experience. She doesn't really have that experience going into a tournament like this. And then the guy I picked at my 4 spot, Casey Nadefo. National Defensive Player of the Year, 2-time MAC Defensive Player of the Year. You're talking about a guy that I didn't care who you picked at your 4 spot, who you have on your team in general. Casey Nadefo can guard 1 through 5, every single position on the floor, despite only being 6'7". Casey Nadefo is probably, in my opinion, arguably the best defensive player all time in MAC history in the 31 years this conference has been around. And if we were making like an all-time just MAC team in general, I would put Casey Nadefo on it. What he did for St. Peter's during the MAC tournament, again, his leadership, he was a senior that year, played all 34 games, started all 34 games that year. I think Casey Nadefo, the fact that I don't know if he's your center, but the fact that you don't have him on your team, that boggles my mind.
Well, you kind of read my notes right here because he is my center.
He's your center?
Yes. Well, if you have Megan Anderson, who's at 6'1", I'm going to want the taller player.
How tall is Jacob Bergoni?
Jacob Bergoni is like 6'3", 6'4".
Okay, so he's a little bit shorter. Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
So Casey Nadefo, I mean, you pretty much said everything that I had already, but most valuable player got St. Peter's on that Cinderella run in 2022, making it to the Elite Eight. 3-time Defensive Player of the Year in the MAC. I mean, there's no player that's better, I'd say, out of any of our players in terms of who has been the best in the MAC than Casey Nadefo.
I agree. In my 5, I'm going Patrick Gardner. Only played 1 year in the MAC. He played at Marist, but Dylan, talk about a guy that came from Nassau Community College, went to St. Michael's College, then to Marist, and in his 1 season there, 49.7% from the field, 38.3% from 3, 19.3 points, 6.6 rebounds. That is a guy who can stretch the floor, be like a spread out 5-man. He's phenomenal. I'm taking him at my 5 spot.
All right, those are some solid picks, guys. But after that roster building segment, it is time for us to take a halftime break. But when we return, we'll skate on over to the ice to discuss some hockey. We'll be right back.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
I know what you're thinking. I need a job. I need a new career.
Well, I've been there.
I've been there.
I've been there. I wasn't happy with what I was doing.
After high school, I didn't have a plan.
I just wanted to start working. I got laid off twice, but you gotta keep going.
You just need the right skills. Find an apprenticeship.
I found a 2-year IT program.
I found a medical course online.
I'm now a consultant in the tech space.
You have more options than you think. You can do this.
You will find something.
You will find something new.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a unique mix of all kinds of things.
Come on, Joel, spot on this last one. There it is.
Keep going with it. Leo! They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
Welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown. After all that back and forth debate, I think it's time we cool off and take it to the ice. The women's ice hockey team lost in the ECAC quarterfinal round, being swept by Cornell. With a lot of seniors on the squad, how concerned are you guys with the turnover going into next season? Dylan, start us off.
Let's see, Dylan. What do you have to say?
I mean, there's nothing else to say, but I'm very concerned. If you look at the 11
Just
seniors...
very concerned? You're not, like, gravely concerned?
What's the difference there? I'm severely concerned. Is that better for you?
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I mean, 11 seniors count for 229 out of the 348 points.
Yep.
And 17 game-winning goals came from those seniors out of the 25.
Yeah.
And if you look at the players that are going to have to go ahead and step up next year that are leaving this or staying on this team for that matter, You have Kaylin LaMarche, Emerson Jarvis, Madison Chandler, and Veronica Bach. And they're already going to have to do way more than what they're doing now just to keep up with the pace that this team right now is set. And they were a second round exit. So I'm super concerned because this is going to be a fresh team, kind of like what we saw with women's basketball this year, and we saw that one.
All right, Dylan, listen. Now, initially, when I saw this question, I was prepping for it. I'm like, man, like I said, I am gravely concerned about this team. And I thought about it. I'm like, listen, the grad students, Angers, Hoskin, Sadie Peer, Nearest, Shriver, and Riley, they're all going to be gone. But some of the seniors, they could end up returning. We don't know about them yet. So I'm under the assumption they could possibly be returning. The biggest issue with this team is going to be goaltending. If they can't bring in a reliable goalie, this team is in huge trouble. And, they have Phillips and Tatum Blacker on the team right now. They only have one NCAA start between the two of them. So that's an area where they really could struggle. But as we've talked about before, the transfer portal is a thing now. We could have a lot of some players coming in on this team. Not to mention they have 4 first years coming in: Avery Barros, Ainsley Dadavio, Ella Shenek, Sophia Rousseau, and Taylor Brusek. These players coming in, they're going to be able to have an immediate impact, similar to the way Kaylin LaMarche did this year. She had 34 points. Maya Labad's returning. She had 27 this year. Chandler had 17 points. I think that, yes, you have to be concerned, but it's all about perspective. If you choose to look at some of the positives, you can see how this team could be okay and fine going into next year.
All right, with the women's team now out of the tournament, the men's side is looking towards their own ECAC quarterfinal round. Who do you guys think will be the best opponent for the Bobcat squad? Tino, let's hear yours first.
All right, so when I was looking at it, barring an insane upset from RPI or Brown, which likely is not going to happen, they're either going to end up playing Yale, Harvard, or Princeton, most likely. And out of those 3, you definitely don't want to play Yale. You talk about Jack Stark as a first year, one of the best goaltenders in the ECAC this year. If I'm picking one of those 3 teams that I want to play, it's 100% Princeton. You won 8-1 and 5-2 respectively in the 2 games they played during the season. To me, there's no easier matchup you could ask for out of those 3 than Princeton, 100%.
I took it as which team out of any of the teams available would I want to play.
You took the question? Okay.
So I took RPI. They're the lowest seed, and every single time, look, it's the easy answer. But if you want me to go ahead with a different answer, I would say Union. Both times they played against them, it was blowouts.
That's who you would pick?
Yes.
That's the most favorable?
Yes.
Okay.
If you look at, how many other games has Quinnipiac shut out a team this year? Do you know that?
Honestly, I don't know that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So tell me, how many?
They shut out Union on the road.
How many times did they shut a team out, though?
They shut out a team multiple times. And going back to my point about Union now, 6-2 at home, all different goal scorers. So if I didn't have to pick RPI, Union's been the team that they've had their number the most with. And from what I've seen from just my time here alone, every single time they play Union, they get over 4 goals.
And every time they've played Princeton this year, Princeton's defense has been completely outmatched by their offense. And now with the line change of moving Travis Treelor up to play with Graff and with Lipkin, they've been even better offensively. Princeton is by far the easiest matchup. And granted, Union is not a low enough seed likely to where they're even going to be playing them. They play the lowest seed coming out of the first round. Union's a 6th seed. They're not going to play Union. And again, you don't want to play Yale. Harvard is a little bit better than Princeton, I would say, looking at the matchups during the regular season. It's 100% Princeton. I get you want to say RPI. RPI's not going to win. They're going to upset Clarkson? Come on, Dylan.
Hey, you never know. It's March.
I said that point earlier. It's fine to throw it back at me. It's a good point.
All right. With that, the seconds of the third quarter are winding down, and we need to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll have our final roars. Stay with us.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here.
Wait. What?
I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown. Thanks for sticking with us. It's now time for some final roars. Santino, why don't you start us off?
Thanks, Liz. This past Sunday, the Quinnipiac men's basketball team celebrated Senior Day. The players that were honored included Savion Lewis, Matt Belanc, Paul Otieno, J.J. Riggins, Nicholas Markinson, and last but not least, Arion Lewis. Senior days in collegiate sports are looked at as a chance to celebrate an athlete's 4 years at a college or university. However, now between COVID years and redshirt years and even the transfer portal, a lot of college athletes play more than 4 years. Take DeJon Clayton, for example. Clayton spent the first 5 years of his collegiate career at Coppin State. In 2021-2022, he transferred to Hartford before transferring to Cal in the 2022-2023 season, During his first 7 seasons, he had 3 medical redshirt years, and because of COVID, the 2020-2021 season didn't count towards any player's eligibility. That meant he had eligibility for an unprecedented 8th season of college basketball. He spent this past season with the Manhattan Jaspers and became the first collegiate basketball player to play for 8 seasons. Clayton is the prime example of how both the transfer portal and COVID have impacted players' eligibility and the overall lore behind Senior Day.
Think about any science experiment or invention that has been created. How did it all begin? To put the answer simply, it started with trial and error. Through the struggles and setbacks, you learn and adapt from them. You take the good and the bad from the result, and you take it into consideration next time around. The concept of experimentation applies to every show and piece of content at this station. The reality is that the real world's right around the corner, and there's no better time to experiment and make mistakes than now. This is your opportunity to be creative and outside the box with your content and see what works and what doesn't. I've seen producers and beat reporters take a leap of faith and ask for more members to do so. No one knew that a beat reporter could play a sport with a team until Keith Savage, or thought about filming on the ice while skating like Anthony Rossi, especially the show right here, Bobcat Breakdown. The ideas that I've seen this year have arguably been the most outside the box in my time here. From Bobcat Bachelor to penalty shootouts and car rides, this show always finds a way to be different, and I encourage more to be different as well. If you take a risk now rather than later, I can assure you that you will be more ready for what the real world has to offer.
For my final roar, I just wanted to take the time to thank everyone here at the station for my time here. I've been at the station for 4 years and mainly stayed in my lane on hashtag. But I had the best time going on other shows and trying new things. Everyone here is so talented, and I just wanted to remind you all of that. Even though this will be my first and last sports department appearance, I have had the best time seeing how this department works. I want to thank everyone in the entertainment department for always helping out at hashtag and helping us put on the best shows possible. I want to thank my parents for always tuning into every show I'm on and hope you enjoyed my one and only sports debut. I wouldn't be who I am or where I am without your constant support. Thank you to the hashtag producers as well for putting up with me every Monday because I know it's not easy. Producing has been so much fun for me, but it has not been easy in the slightest bit. This role has tested me, but has also helped me grow. I cherish every memory at Q30, and the station has given me so many opportunities, and I can't wait to see where everyone goes in the future. That's all we have this week on Bobcat Breakdown. Make sure to follow us on Q30 and Q30 Sports on X and Instagram, and check out Q30TV.com for more of our content. For the producers and to everyone behind the scenes, he's Dylan Summer, he's Santino Meoni, and I'm Liz Ippolito. Sleep well, Bobcats.